Hello everyone, welcome to the BoldSign API tutorial. In this video, I'll guide you through the process of sending signature requests using the OAuth Client Credentials Flow in Node.js. To connect with BoldSign services, you need either an API key or an access token for authentication. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to obtain an access token using the Client Credentials flow, all without user interaction, so you can make BoldSign API calls effortlessly. BoldSign provides support for OAuth 2.0 authentication to facilitate secure calls to its API. You can use any of its supported OAuth 2 authentication workflows, such as authorization code flow, client credentials flow, or implicit flow to obtain an access token. I navigate to the developer documentation on OAuth 2.0, where you can find detailed information. Next, I move on to the client credentials flow. Here, you'll discover a list of request parameters along with their descriptions. The first parameter is the grant type, which should always be set to client_credentials when using this flow. The next parameters are the client ID and client secret, both of which are generated when you create your OAuth application. Finally, you'll need to specify the scope. The required scope for accessing the BoldSign API is available for you to review here. Additionally, you'll find code snippets to help you create the access token in various programming languages. First, let me show you how to create the access token for making the API call. I copy the Node.js code snippets for creating the access token and paste them here. The request parameters include the grant type, which is set to client_credentials, and the scope, which is set to allow full control over the document resources. Now, I need to set the client ID and client secret key. To create the client credentials, I switch to the BoldSign web app and expand the API section. I select OAuth apps and click on Create App, where I first set the application name. Next, I enable client secret validity and set the validity date. You can also choose the billing options, deciding whether to charge it to the user account or your own account. Finally, I click Save. You can find the complete details we filled in the dialog displayed here. The client ID and client secret key are generated. I copy these client credentials and set them to the request parameters. Next, I request the BoldSign token API with these parameters. I return the access token using return response. Once the request is successful, BoldSign returns a response that includes the access token, expiry, token type, and scope. Next, I create a send document function. I copy the Node.js code snippets for sending the document and paste them here. First, ensure that you have installed the BoldSign Node.js SDK by running the command npm install BoldSign in your terminal. As I have already installed it, I'll confirm by running npm list BoldSign. As you can see, the package has been installed and is ready to go. Inside the send document function, I initialize the document API client. Instead of passing an API key, I configure the client with the access token. I set the base path and set the authorization header using bearer access token. This is how the access token is passed to the BoldSign API to authenticate the request. I set up a signature field using bound to define its position and size. I then update the signer's name and email address. Next, I set the document file path. And document title. Finally, I pass these properties to the Send Document API to send the signature request and return the document ID. To make this interactive, I set up a web server using Express. On the root page, I add a simple HTML form with a Send Document button. When I click this button, it triggers a post request to the Send Document endpoint, which calls getAccessToken to retrieve the token and then passes it to Send Document to initiate the signature request. Upon receiving a successful response, the server displays the document ID. If an error occurs, it shows an error message. I run the sample and open the link in the browser. I click the Send Document button. A message is displayed with the document ID, confirming that the document has been successfully sent for signing. Similarly, you can make other API calls using the access token. I can also check the document that was sent in the BoldSign web app. This flow is especially useful in organizations that need to send out onboarding documents for new employees. It can be automated using the HR account's client credentials, making the process seamless and efficient. That's it. If you found this video helpful, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to our channel for more BoldSign API tutorial videos.